Today, on What It's Like, 1949 Chevy Stlyeline. Finally, Chevy's all-new post-war design. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like. This channel, we cover the lost and forgotten classics, vintage, some exotics, lots of orphan cars, and cars that tend to get lost in the shuffle. We dive in deep with specs, period, ads, and show what these cars were like. It's in the title. If that sounds like a channel that you will totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. This 1949 Chevy Stlyeline Deluxe is for sale at Classic Auto Mall. For more information, pricing, and pictures of this particular car, click the link below. After the show, let's talk 1949 Chevy. But before we do, so you're probably sitting there wondering, like, Chevy's all-new post-war design, question mark. It's 1949. World War II ended in 1945. That was 4 years ago. I know, right? Chevy was one of those companies that didn't build anything new right after the war. They just blew the dust off the dies, so to speak, and built those for a few years. By 1948, their cars were looking very old hat. And to be fair, it wasn't just Chevy that had that business philosophy. Ford and Chrysler also shared the same ideology. By 1949, they all three decided to make new cars. Go figure, right? 1949 Chevy could be had in two model lines: Fleetline, which was their beautiful fastback offering, and Styleline. Styleline came in two flavors: Special or Deluxe. Stlyeline Deluxe could be had as a two-door convertible, two-door sports coupe, four-door sedan, and four-door wagon built on the GM A-body platform along such cars as the Pontiac Chieftain and the Oldsmobile 88. Stlyeline Deluxe competed with Ford Deluxe, Plymouth Special Deluxe. For a little bit more money, buyers could get the Studebaker Champion or the Nash 600. Before looking at both of these cars side by side, it's important to note that the Styleline replaced the Style Master, designed by Duke Harley Earl. Looking at the 48 on top and the 49 on the bottom, starting in the front, the styling looks a decade newer, in my opinion, a step forward in design. The roofline looks lower. So I went back and I looked at the specs for the 48. The 48 is actually an inch taller at 66 inches tall versus 65 inches tall on the 49. The car just looks sleeker and not as stodgy as the 48. Headlights are recessed into the fenders as opposed to protruding the fenders like found on the 48. The fenders flow more on the 49. Don't get me wrong, still has that nose bulge, but it isn't as huge as seen on the 48. The front bumper wraps completely around the front of the car on the 49. On the 48, it doesn't. Moving to the side profile, 49 ditches the external fenders for an in-body fender, what we're more accustomed to now. So 1949 was the first car Chevy made that had fenders that were in body as opposed to protruding like seen on the 48. The doors are more simple and flat versus the 48 with all of its curves and lines. Moving to the rear, in the rear quarter section, interesting fenders in the rear. They're bigger than the 48 fenders and bigger gravel guards. So this is very interesting. Look at the 49 door placement and the 48 door placement. The 48 has in the front fender goes with the front door. Then on the 49, the front door doesn't really go with anything. The fender is part of the body itself, but the rear door goes with the rear fender, whereas on the 48, it's not like that. So that's very interesting. Bumpers wrap completely around in the rear of the 49, where they're just slightly curved on the 48. Taillights are slender and vertical versus horizontal on the 48. Moving inside, let's talk about the dashboard. It's been completely revised. The 49 took the Nash approach and put everything in one gauge, giving it a clearer but simplistic look. Which car design do you guys like better, 48 or 49? For me, I dig the 49 because, don't get me wrong, there isn't anything wrong with the 48. It just looks dated when compared to the 49. If it was a Fleetmaster, on the other hand, that would be very hard because they are so cool looking with the fastback look. Both the 48 and the 49 both have a place in my heart. And don't even get me started on the Oldsmobile equivalent that I've been looking for all year and I can't find one. Anyway, let's talk specs. 196.9 inches long, 73.9 inches wide, 65 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 115 inches. It weighs 3,280 pounds. Price $1,539, which is equivalent to you spending $19,192.04 in the year 2023. Total 1949 Chevy production. Chevy had a stellar year for 1949. 1,010,013 units, of which total deluxe was 766,461 units. And of that number, Styleline four-door sedans were 191,357 units. Moving on to engines, only one engine on offer. 216.5 cubic inch displacement inline overhead valve Babbitt Buster 6. It was good for 90 horsepower at 3,300 RPM, 168 pound-feet of torque at 1,100 RPM, with a compression of 6.5 to 1, 4 main bearings when mated to a 3-speed manual, which was on the column. 0 to 60 could be had in 21.5 seconds. It sounds slow, but it's actually faster than a Yugo or a Volkswagen Beetle. Top speed was theoretically 73 miles per hour, while achieving an average fuel economy rating of 14.7 miles to the gallon. Let's talk styling. So just notice, it has nice chrome bezels around the headlights. Notice the valley coming up through here. Also notice that all of this sheet metal is just kind of pushed up into this bulge type of region up on top of the hood. Look at the hood ornament. And the grille, lots of chrome. Marker lights, could be the turn signals. Notice there isn't any trim along the side here. There is a nice trim piece down here. It's also got a little bit of a flare to it. Fender bulge with gravel guard. Just look at how that's designed. How it comes back up around here and out the back. Look how this comes down into a point back here and it curves inside. Look at the little tiny lights. It's got 2 lights in the back here, so you can definitely see the license plate. Has chrome around the base of the roof, coming back towards the front. Here's what the mirror looks like. This one has 2 mirrors, come off the A-pillar here to the front. So just check out this door. It's all framed out. The frame isn't that deep. Here's my fingers for reference. They're wrapped in plastic. I've never seen door panels wrapped in plastic like this. Notice there isn't an armrest. There's a door handle to pull the door shut if you wanted to pull it shut like that, or door handle to get out. Window crank for the big window. It operates like that, and that's what it looks like. Here's the vent window. It operates like that. Down inside the pedal box down here, high beam switch is right there. Clutch, brake, gas pedal. This one's got a heat switch. I don't know if that's aftermarket. It doesn't look stock, but who knows? If you know, in the comment section below. There is a handbrake here. This is for a vent in the driver's side footwell. That is for a vent in the passenger side footwell. There is your heater system right there. Take a look at this interior. So that's what the door sounds like shutting. Here's what over the hood impression looks like. Here's what first person over the hood impression looks like. Underneath the steering wheel, that's how much space there is. There's tons of room in this car. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Headlights, that chrome/stainless button, that is for the starter. Hand throttle just below that. Single gauge cluster with everything inside of it. Coolant temperature, gasoline gauge, amp meter, oil pressure, speedometer with odometer just below the needle. Wipers, choke, key is located just below the choke. I know you can't see it, but it's there. Up above, sun visors. Sun visor for the passenger, rear view mirror. Look at how far the dashboard sits. Lots of space in this car. On to the glove box test. There's our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. Fits in there perfect. Coming up and getting inside the rear door. So just look at how this door is designed, how it's carved out here for the wheel well. Here's what the door panels look like. They're plastic and it looks like they're cloth underneath. There isn't an armrest or door handle to pull the door shut except for this door handle. Here's the window crank, and that's how the window operates. And it almost goes all the way down. Door lock there. Here's how much space you have in the back seat. These seats, they feel like plastic. Very interesting. Look at how this juts out. So that's what the rear door sounds like shutting. Here is what the front looks like from the back. And just take a look at the greenhouse. That is what it looks like out the rear window. That's how much storage space you have behind the back seat. Here is what the back seat profile looks like. It's actually really comfortable. This reclines quite nicely, and it does dip down in the back here, but it's not nearly as bad as some other cars. Here's what my knee situation looks like. Tons of knee room. The seats feel vinyl, but they feel plastic on the front here. It's weird. The backs feel better than the actual cushion part itself. This is what I look like in the back. I got tons of headroom. There are some creature comforts. Coat hook, dome light, which is controllable by this little switch back here. Everything that is found on the driver's side is found on the passenger side as well. There's a coat hook. There isn't an armrest, and there isn't any lights except for the dome light there in the center. The hood release is right here. Up, and there's a secondary catch, which is located right here, and you push it away from you. And the hood is extremely heavy, but it goes up really high. Like, check that out. So that gives you lots of space to work on that engine because the hood isn't in the way. It's got an oil bath, air cleaner, oil filter. On to the pros and cons. We are getting all of the pros and cons from the complete book of collectible cars, blue chip auto investments, 70 years from 1930 to 2000 by Richard M. Langworth and the auto editors of Consumer Guide. On the positive side, wide availability. 1949 production includes 3,342 very desirable wood body wagons, the last of its type. High construction quality. Against it, slow to appreciate in value, ordinary by any stretch of the imagination. All right, now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to give me both the name of the band as well as song title. First person to do both correctly will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. I read and answer all comments posted. Second way is we have a Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. So if you want to get more involved in this car community, because that's what this channel is, it's way more than a car channel. It's a car community. If you want to interact with other people on this channel, visit our Facebook group. The link will be in the description. If you don't have a Facebook and you'd like to contact me, my email will be in the description as well. So if I catch you on Facebook or on here, or if you send me an email, just know I appreciate all the support. And until next time, wait a second. Here are some scenes for our next episode. 1929 Buick Model 2955 Touring. That's what's coming up next on What It's Like. And until that time, toodaloo! Real quick question. Is it Florida or Florida?